Yeah. Does anyone know any fire songs that we could sing while this is lighting? You do! Sister, what is it? Please sing it. Yeah. Come closer.
So it goes, blesses this fire, blesses this flame, blesses this hearth that we kindle again.
Beautiful.
Okay. Bless us this fire, bless us this flame, bless us this hearth that we kindle again. Bless us this fire, bless us this flame, bless us this hearth that we kindle again. Bless us this fire, bless us this flame, bless us this heart that we kindle again. Bless us this fire, bless us this flame, bless us this heart that we kindle again. Bless us this fire, bless us this flame, bless us this heart that we kindle again. Bless us this fire, bless us this flame, bless us this heart that we kindle again. Bless us this fire, bless us this flame, bless us this heart that we kindle again. Bless us this fire, bless us this flame, bless us this heart that we kindle again. Bless us this fire, bless us this flame, bless us this heart that we kindle again. Bless us this fire, bless us this flame, bless us this heart that we kindle again. Bless us this fire, bless us this flame, bless us this heart that we kindle again. This fire, bless us this flame, bless us this heart that we kindle again. Bless us this fire, bless us this flame, bless us this heart that we kindle again. Bless us this fire, bless us this flame, bless us this heart that we kindle again. Bless us this fire, bless us this flame, bless us this heart that we kindle again. Bless us this fire, bless us this flame, bless us this heart that we kindle again. Bless us this fire, bless us this flame, bless us this heart that we kindle again. Bless us this fire, bless us this flame, bless us this heart that we kindle again. Bless us this fire, bless us this flame, bless us this heart that we kindle again.
Sister, that was perfect. Welcome everybody. We're gonna have
Light the path before me, fire come forth, set me free. Kindle a fire that burns in me, fire come forth, set me free. Kindle a fire that burns in me. Burn away what is not love, burn away what cannot last, burn away what's in the past, and light the path before me. Fire come forth, set me free. Kindle a fire that burns in me. Fire come forth, set me free. Kindle a fire that burns in me. Burn away what is not love. Burn away what cannot last. Burn away what's in the past, and light the path before me. Fire come forth and set me free. Kindle a fire that burns in me. Fire come come forth, set me free. Kindle a fire that burns in me. Burn away what is not love. Burn away what cannot last. Burn away what's in the past and light the path before me. Fire come forth, set me free. Kindle a fire that burns in me. Fire come forth, set me free. Kindle a fire that burns in me. Burn away what is not love. Burn away what cannot last. Burn away what's in the past and light the path before me. Fire come forth, set me free. Kindle a fire that burns in me. Fire come forth, set me free. Kindle a fire that burns in me. Burn away what is not love. Burn away what cannot last. Burn away what's in the past and light the path before me.
One more time.
Fire come forth, set me free. Kindle a fire that burns in me. Fire come forth, set me free. Kindle a fire that burns in me. Burn away what is not love. Burn away what cannot last. Burn away what's in the past and light the path before me. Happy fire.
Yay!
Fire that's been sung to.
Is there one more voice that would like to come forward and really help deepen this fire even more before we begin? Is there another song or an open expression, a voice that would like to come and really pour some love into this fire to help it hold us in our story?
The song about going through sacred well, like the Glastonbury, which has sacred water underneath it, really the lifeblood of our planet. And look at that, being here with the river, it connects to all water around the entire planet. Really, eventually, as we travel through Earth and through the planet, through everything. This song is a little bit about that. So let's give me some drums as well. I can get for that.
Did you hear that? You'd like a bit of drums?
Come we now as a people, together at the sacred well. Come we now as a people, together in the warmth and the light of the flame. Come we now as a people, together at the sacred well. Come we now as a people, together in the warmth and the light of the flame. Come we now as a people,
when we start our story together. This is going to be open for you to contribute. This is a co-created experience. This is for all of us. You can participate or not as much as you like. You can literally let yourself just sit here and receive, and let your inner child receive the story. Or you can be vocal. There will be invitations both for the group to contribute their voices, but also for certain individuals to come up and take their place around the fire with me. and I'll help by gifting you lines as a narrator. So we will create it well and truly together. Anything, any impulse, any excitement, if you feel like you want to make a sound effect. Exactly, if you have some instruments with you and you want to create a really beautiful ambience. My prayer is that everything that is spoken, everything that is shared, everything that is expressed comes as a pure and clear channel of divine love, as an offering to love, as an offering to this land, as a prayer of respect and kindness and honor, and that everything that moves through us is in harmony together, unified together, encircled together. May we give thanks with this story. May this story be a gift. May this story be an offering to the land. I have petals here, I have dried cherries here. This is from the land in Devon where I come from, and so I honor that land where I'm currently living, and I make these offerings to the fire. Thank you, fire, for being here, for shining bright, for sharing yourself, for loving us so much, for allowing us to be encircled together like this. By this river. By this river. Thank you, fire. Thank you, fire. Thank you, fire.
Thank you, fire.
Thank you, fire.
Fire.
Honoring the river, this sacred, beautiful water that moves right here, the River Dee. We love you. You've held us. You've helped us to cleanse, to laugh, to play, to float down in a merry way. We love you. Thank you, River Dee. And to all of the beings that live here that we have slowly been getting to know a little more, the trees, the little creeks, the fields, the sheep, the hills, all of those ones that crawl and have crawled all over you at this gathering that you've had to flick off or get out of your tent. We honor them. All of those that have sang their beautiful songs to us from the trees and flown high overhead. I wonder, have anyone seen the buzzards that have been flying over today? Honoring our winged brothers and sisters, we see you, we thank you. Honoring all of those that climb and crawl. Can you show me your climbing and crawling? Great. Yes. We honor you. Giving thanks to all of our brothers and sisters, our earthly connections here. We love you. Giving thanks and acknowledging all of the unseen, all the invisible world, all the nature spirits that dance and play around us too, that welcome us, that some don't welcome us, and that's okay. We honor all those that live in this land, all those spirits here. And this story is a prayer to you. This story is an honoring of you. We acknowledge you with this story. We give thanks to you with this story. So thank you. We come in peace. Giving thanks to the ancestors. I feel them really strong here. I feel my ancestors from this land strong here. And so honoring all of your ancestors, honoring my ancestors, honoring the ancestors of this land. We acknowledge you. We give thanks. We're coming home. We're remembering this relationship. Honoring the ancestral beings that make up the hills, that make up the trees and the rivers. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ancestors, we honor you. We acknowledge you. To the guardians and the gatekeepers, all those that support us here, that look after the land, that welcome us. We honor you, we acknowledge you, we give thanks to the guardians and the gatekeepers of the land here. To all those that I haven't mentioned, that I love, and that I see and that I don't see, I love you, thank you. And welcoming all of your higher selves, welcoming all of your Tunkantchila, your helper beings, those that are with you, that support you to support your highest evolution, welcoming them here. They're welcome here. I love you and I thank you. Thank you so much. I welcome my Tunkantchila here and I give them thanks and blessings. Thank you. Welcome. And to this story. I'm so excited! For the way and the clarity that the nature spoke to me to bring this to you is beautiful. So honoring the magic involved in this, honoring the earth for her imagination, and allowing that to move through, to be heard, and to be created by all, because really it hasn't yet fully been written, because we're all writing it tonight. So honouring all the beings in the imaginal world of the divine love and light that are here with us through this story, that are supporting us with their highest medicine through this story. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We love you and we welcome you. Can we have maybe like some sounds of welcome, whatever that feels like to the story? Can we welcome the story? Welcome. I'm welcoming the 13 grandmothers here. I'm welcoming the grandmothers all around this circle to hold us, to connect us in love, in unity, in remembering, in connection. Welcome, grandmothers. We love you. We welcome you. We call upon your highest healing, your highest love to support us, to guide us in this ceremony. Thank you. And the grandfathers. Honouring our grandfathers. Welcoming the grandfathers.
Yes, Charlie.
Thank you, grandfathers, for your grounding and your wisdom, your stability, your grace in which you show us the way. Thank you, grandfathers, for everything that you continue to teach us, to bring us home with your benevolence, with your love, with your kindness, with your compassion. We love you, grandfathers. Thank you and welcome. And thank you. And to all those angelic beings, all those beings of the highest love and light that wish to surround us, to hold us in this highest expression in the prayer of love, we welcome you. We give thanks. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you. Welcome to all those that are supporting us as this prayer is spoken. We honour you and we give thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your patience in that opening. It really felt like that needed to happen, the whole process of us lighting the fire together and singing and praying over it. So thank you so much for your patience. This is my drum. She's going to be helping us out in the story, and I welcome your instruments too. You have a question?
Did you birth that drum?
I did birth
Yeah,
that drum.
my mum birthed the drum on Friday.
Did she?
Yeah.
That's very
What's your one?
special.
Goat skin?
This is deer skin.
Oh yeah, deer skin.
Deer
That's,
skin.
that's what my mum's is.
Wow, very special. So yes, I did birth this drum. Thanks for
Oh, yeah.
asking. All of your voices here are really important. For anyone that feels like, oh, expressing isn't for me, singing isn't for me, acting isn't for me, I really welcome you to share your voice here and to allow this place to be a safe place for expression. And if you feel like, oh gosh, she's asking for somebody, maybe I should do it, and your heart's going like this, that's probably a sign that it's time to get up and do it. Just saying. He's like, I'm ready, what do you want? So again, we're creating this, make sounds, and also perhaps be listening. I invite you to listen to your hearts. When is the right time to share? When is the right time to speak? If you have a part of the story, when I welcome your voices, please share from your heart. Feel that you can. Feel that is so welcome, because it is. It's so welcome. All right. Does anyone have any questions?
Are we actually going to start this story?
Now we are. Very patient. You've been very patient. We will.
Are we allowed to get to play the drums now?
So the invitation is just to feel your way in to where it complements and how it supports. Okay. Nice. This story begins in a very dark, womb-like place. So dark, so black, so womb-like. Like we're in the center of the earth. But we are in a chrysalis, my friends. This story begins in a chrysalis. And have you ever thought what happens in a chrysalis? Have you ever considered what goes on for a butterfly that's transforming from a caterpillar? Primordial goo. Yes! We had primordial goo, yes! The caterpillar actually turns to mush. But in the process, before that happens, in this story, the great goddess shares a vision of Eden to the caterpillar, inspiring this caterpillar to transform, allowing the imaginal cells to change. Every compound, every structure of this caterpillar into a butterfly. And this vision is of Eden, my friends. This vision is of rivers that flow so pure and clean, and flowers that blossom, and trees that are so happy. So many flowers that the butterfly can dance upon, play on, inspiring completely the transformation. So we'll just get some silence for a moment. Thanks, guys. And so we see this butterfly with this vision of all of the flowers, of all of the magic that it's coming out for, and it stretches out and it pulls out its wings, which were, by the way, grey and black speckled, and it sits with moist wings on the edge of a branch and looks out towards the fields of flowers and the Eden that this butterfly has been promised. And once its wings are dry, it begins to beat them down to find its first flower. So can I see all of your wings? We're all going to beat them down together. Ready? And make sounds. We can see that butterfly cruising over the fields, looking at beautiful colours of reds and oranges and golds, until it sees a beautiful buttercup and come down towards the buttercup. We're coming down towards the buttercup, and just as the butterfly was going to touch the flower, something unexpected happened. The flower disappeared completely. Can we all do that sound effect together of the flower disappearing? That was not what was promised in the vision of Eden that this butterfly saw, but it was a bit confused and it took flight again. Show me your wings. Let's all take flight as the butterfly to find the next flower. Even more radiant, even more beautiful, even more orange and stretched out and expressed and opened up its beautiful petals, and the butterfly landed, and just as it was about to touch the petal, are you ready? And the butterfly hovered over, oh my gosh, and was a bit confused and a bit frustrated and a bit upset, and to be frank, a bit annoyed actually. It was like, what? You know, Gaia promised me this. Well, yes, but the butterfly was infatuated with the flowers, you see. And so the butterfly kept seeking and seeking and needed it to be that it was going to be a purple flower. Let's show me your wings. It was going to land on a purple flower. Let's go, ready? Let's hear those butterfly sound effects. How graceful can you move? Yes, just like that. Oh, lovely, lovely. Look at this little butterfly down here. That's it. Flap those little wings. That's it. Those great big grey and black wings. And just as it came up to the most glorious purple flower, you guessed it. Ready? All together on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And not just that, but the entire field of flowers disappeared. Can we have like a popcorn? Let's just, all around us, the flowers were getting sucked down into the earth. And that butterfly is hovering over. Yeah, the drums are good right now. Keep going with that, yeah. The butterfly was exhausted and was tired, and the fields were empty, and this was different. My friends, this was so different to what that butterfly had been promised. Where was that Garden of Eden, and why were the flowers disappearing? Where were they going? Where did the flowers go to? This crushed the hearts of the little ones. Did you have an idea where the flowers went to?
It went to his heart.
It went to his heart. And so the flowers dipped into their hearts, down into the earth. And that butterfly overheard the sounds of something coming. It was a storm. The sounds of thunder began to rumble through the sky. Let's hear your thundering. The sound of lightning began. A storm burst and burst. Even louder, the storm grew louder. butterfly needed shelter immediately. And so it fluttered and it fluttered and it fluttered until it found a little nook just in between some rocks as the rain started to pour. Can we hear the rain? So the butterfly is nestled in, watching this storm and thinking, this is not the Eden I was promised. This is not the visions that I saw. This is not the flowers, the experiences that I wanted. No. And at that moment, the butterfly realized that she was not alone in the cave. There was the presence of something old, something ancient, something that was omming. And so we are going to om together to meet this great being omming in the cave. We're going to om 3 times. Are you ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Breathing in. And being is wise. Breathe in. And even wiser. Oh yes, wise one of the cave was then revealed as the all-seeing, all-knowing praying mantis, sitting with his mudra, with his hands like this. And he opened one of his eyes to gaze at this very wet, colourless butterfly intruding onto his space like this. Can you all do that back to me? One more time, ready? Perfect. And do you know what? We are going to need someone to play the praying mantis. Who would like come on up? That was so confident. Come on up here, honey. Welcome. So can we have you maybe over here on your wise with your hands in mudra? How the great big.
Can I put my leg up because I'm good at balancing?
Great. There we go. Samantha said to the butterfly, "What goeseth in this cave?" You say that?
What goes with this cave?
That's perfect, honey, that's perfect. And says, "Who are you?"
Who are you?
And the butterfly says, "Well, I'm just seeking shelter, and I came because there was a storm, and I just don't." That's fine, honey. "And I don't know why the flowers are disappearing." And the praying mantis said, "That is none of your business."
That is none of your business.
And the butterfly looked down and said, But the flowers are disappearing, and I was promised an Eden, and the Eden isn't here. What can we do about it?" And just at that moment, the fire reflected to the praying mantis all of the colours that was possible on the butterfly's wings. The butterfly began to shimmer with this vision of its potential. And the praying mantis said, "Okay, butterfly, I will tell you what I know."
I'll tell you what I know.
And so the praying mantis continued to share with the butterfly that in fact there was a great sickness that had passed through the land. There is a great sickness that has passed through the land.
There is a great sickness that has passed through the land.
For the dark goblin reigns in the Garden of Eden. So you could say the dark goblin reigns in the Garden of Eden. Doing great. It's not much longer. You're doing really good. And the praying mantis continued to share with the butterfly that the great goddess lived at the center of the earth. And from the center of the earth in the Garden of Eden, this is where the goddess birthed all of life from. But this was a very sought after place. This was a very desired place, for it was very, very powerful. And as a result, the dark goblin of the underworld had infiltrated the Garden of Eden. And no being was safe. Can I get a gasp? And the butterfly said, well, what does this mean? And the praying mantis said, life is disappearing on earth.
Life is disappearing on Earth.
Can I get another gasp? Surely it can't be. Never, no. So, that night, the praying mantis in his mudra, yes, in his mudra, shared with the butterfly that it would be the quest of someone, one being, to travel down 3 gateways to the Garden of Eden to meet the dark goblin. For only when the dark goblin left the cave would the goddess be able to return, and all of life would be able to bloom on the surface of the earth once more. Can I get one more gasp? And the praying mantis said, butterfly, that's you.
Butterfly, that's you.
Let's give this praying mantis a big round of applause. And the butterfly, just as the rain clouds stopped and dawn came with all of this information about goblins and Eden and goddess and no life on earth. What kind of earth was this to be if there was no life? 3 archways into the center of the earth to meet the dark goblin? Are any of you brave enough to embark on a quest like that? Put your hand up if you'd be willing. We've got some brave warriors. Wow. Whew. And the butterfly said, you know what? I'm just going to get some air. I'm just going to breathe. And so it flew and it flew and it flew with not a flower in sight. And with each beat of its wing, that pang of pain, that pang of loss, of what would Earth be like if there was no creatures on it to live. And something guided that butterfly. It found its wings naturally moving over the field. Can we maybe have some like angelic sounds, like the very first arch into the underworld. Whoa! Can everyone see the arch here? That great arch. Wow! Wow! And it was covered like in mold and dirt, but underneath you could see the faint glimmers of the gold and the jewels that lie just underneath. And the butterfly took it in, but there in front of the first arch was a being. Can we have someone to play the first caterpillar? Who would like to play the first? And the first caterpillar said, "What do you want?"
What do you want?
You can stand up with me, honey, and you can take the position of me. With this caterpillar had 100 legs, was big and black and stood like this. Show me your caterpillar stance. And had a spear in his hand. Can you show me your spear? There we go. And the butterfly felt a little bit taken aback, like, oh. And the caterpillar said, "What do you want here?"
What do you want here?
Well, and he said again, "Who sent you?"
Who sent you?
"What business do you have?"
What business do you have?
And the little butterfly near this great big caterpillar said, "Well, I've been told by the praying mantis that I need to go through the 3 archways to meet the great goblin at the center of the earth. Otherwise, life's gonna perish. And we can't really let that happen.
I don't care. I do not let you through.
Unless, the caterpillar said, unless you give something up that you're holding.
Unless you keep something up that you're holding.
And the butterfly looked and couldn't see anything, but realized it was holding on to the darkness on its wings. It was holding on to the color of black in speckles and spots and said, well, I will lay this down for you.
I shall not accept.
Initially, the caterpillar did not accept.
I want valuable. I love one. I want all the flowers that disappear.
That's gonna come later. You're getting, yeah, that's definitely gonna come later. So we've got the black that's been laid down, and in this case, the caterpillar looked at that black and said,
Fine, I'll accept.
Exhibit A is what is possible. Creating a story, thank you.
That was hilarious.
So, my friends, the butterfly had permission to move through the first archway, but weaker. It had let something go and its wings were more dull and it moved down and it was completely dark. Completely dark in the first realm, in the first layer under the earth. And there was a dripping sound and the underground rivers and the slight shimmer of a crystal in the distance of the cave. But as you can imagine, the butterfly felt very disoriented. The butterfly had never been so alone and scared. It really felt scared, and it began to move through. And we have some sound effects of the butterfly's passageway through, moving through the darkness, looking for that second archway. Was there anyone to help this butterfly? There was sounds, there was voices, there was drift, and then the butterfly asked for help. Help! I don't know where I'm going, and I need to find the second archway. I've only got 2 weeks to live, and I need to save the earth in that time. And something spotted itself, something sprouted from the roof, so it seemed, but actually it began to glow. My brothers and sisters, do you know what started to glow under there? That's cool, yeah. I know, glowworms. What?
It's a new win from armor defense.
Some new wings.
With bomb guns on to
That's very
defeat all
cool
the bad
idea.
guys.
Yeah, just
What
new
else?
wings,
Anyone
just new
else?
wings.
Yeah. Self-defense.
Maybe it's the archway.
Coming out
You know what? You're close. But there is an element here that has been taken, honoured, grown on this land, sung to, and that, my friends, is the funnest guys under the earth, the fun guys, the mushrooms. And I think we need to do this, whatever their song is right now. So their song could be like... So let's bring that in a moment. Let's start with this. Ready? Do, deep, do, deep. Can we hear this? Do, deep, do, deep, 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 deep. Mushrooms, 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 mushrooms. All right. What else? How else are they singing? These guys are funky. Honest guys under the earth. mushrooms began in their song. They showed their luminescent underground colors. They showed their opal essence. They showed their magic luminescence. They showed their sweetest essence. They revealed themselves in their glory, and they were singing, and they were like, "Welcome, girls, to the magic mushrooms. It's like guys down here, yeah." And she was so relieved. She was a bit perplexed. She kind of looked at her and was like, "What was that?" That was something, you know. And these mushrooms began to illuminate a path with their beautiful song. The mushroom party continued down the caves. And so I just want you to see down these caves, weaving deeper down into the earth. The mushrooms showed the butterfly the way. Until there was the second archway. As they were approaching, you can see it. It's a little bit grimy. It's a little bit discolored. This archway stood before them with different engravings. And the butterfly used its tiny little paw to just wipe away some of the grime, and it could see the engravings of the goddess. The old codes. The old codes. You guys all see this archway really clearly. Thank you. It's right, beautiful. You can't miss it. You can't miss it. It's right here. And there, standing in front of the archway, was an even bigger caterpillar. Can we have someone that hasn't had a turn to come up? And we're also going to call up some adults too. Yeah.
I'm an adult.
And the great big centipede said, "What do you want?"
What do you want?
Yes. Strong. That was scary. I want to hear it even like again, and maybe like you can stretch your legs out a bit. Put your arms back. Yeah, let's feel that power from you, honey. So powerful, yeah. Do you want to put your spear out here? That's it. Warrior pose. That's it. Thank you. And said, "What do you want?"
What do you want?
Ooh, can we get a ooh? It said, "Who are you?" And the butterfly repeated in much of her fluttery-ness, a bit lightheaded and a bit weaker, said, "Well, you see, I just wanted to sit on a flower, and all the flowers started disappearing under the earth, and then there was a storm, and then there was a praying mantis, and suddenly he was telling me that the great goblin was down there when the goddess was meant to be there, and now we've got to get Eden back, basically." She's like, "Nice story, dude." That's good, I like that. And the butterfly was like, "Well, yeah, actually, that's kind of how it is. That's really how it is." And the caterpillar said, "You must give me something that you're holding onto." And the butterfly, feeling that gaze, so powerful and stern, took a little flutter back and looked up. And on its wings could see the remaining patterns of greys, and so laid down the greys and the hues and the shadows at the feet of the caterpillar. And the caterpillar was quite astounded, actually, and said, "You may pass."
I guess you may stop. Goodbye.
Let's give it a round of applause. Now this time when the butterfly entered that archway, can we have complete silence from the second descent under the earth? Ready? 1, 2, 3. It was dark. It was even darker. Could it get any darker? There were sounds. There were spooky sounds. There was pitter-pattering in the lakes around the outside. Can we hear some? realised I can't do this on my own, and so put out a call. Can we all have a help from the butterfly together? 1, 2, 3. Help! And at that moment, there was a sound with a being that said, I'm going to invite an adult up here. Can we have an adult to play this next character?
I'm an adult.
No, you're not quite yet.
No, you're not. This is the adult.
Welcome, sister. Welcome. Come on up here.
Who's an adult?
Do you want to come up?
I didn't mind. It's alright, I'm here now.
Well, this was a lovely divine happening that was obviously meant to be. What's your name? Freya. We've got Freya here to play the mouse. And the mouse crept up. That's it. Wonderful. And said, psst, psst, butterfly. Butterfly. And Butterfly turned and said, who is that? And the mouse said, it's me, Mouse. It's me, Mouse. Follow me. And can you go in front of me and I'll follow you? Oh, yeah. And they followed. Butterfly followed the mouse down deep, weaving deep into a tiny cave in this second dimension under the second layer of the earth through that archway. Wait a moment, for we are about to... Thank you. We are about to enter. We're about to enter.
We are about to enter
A cave with many beings. A cave. And the butterfly could see the cave up ahead, shimmering light, candlelight. What do we have there? A giggle erupted from the cave. Were they? They had been under the ground for a very long time, and the mouse said, these are all the animals that the humans consider extinct. This is where they live. I can't remember. No, that's okay. It's okay. It's amazing. You can say,
this is the cave.
This is
the animals that the humans thought were extinct are living.
yes. And they came around the corner. Let's give her a round of applause. And there, before their eyes, you can see it was a hall with torches all around the outside of this cave. And there was one of every plant and one of every animal that had been endangered or considered extinct on the earth. They had left there. And the mouse said, they left Earth.
They left Earth
Because it wasn't safe for them anymore.
because it wasn't safe for them anymore.
And they're hiding here
And they are hiding here
until it is safe again.
until it's safe again.
Until the goddess returns to the Garden of Eden.
Until the goddess returns to the Garden of Eden.
I'm a cat. You're a mouse.
So, if you can see, can you picture all of those beings you didn't even know existed on the earth? With 8 legs, with 10 heads, with 7 wings, with 5 tails, with many toes. Let your imagination run wild. What beings are underneath there? And perhaps let us just feel with like a real respect all of those beings that are no longer here with us. Can we just take a moment to actually acknowledge all of those that have passed, that do not birth life on the earth, that had for so long? And we send a prayer to you, we thank you, and we're sorry for what we've contributed, the human race, to this. And we do hope and we pray that many beings, beautiful beings, will be able to be will be able to thrive and live here in safety with their ecosystems full, protected. So thank you. We love you to all those animals extinct. We love you. We honor you. We're sorry. We're sorry. Thank you. We love you. We love you. Just feel that emanating towards the fire, your heart's prayer of thanks and honoring. And the mouse said, "We are waiting for one brave enough to go through the third archway."
We are waiting for one brave enough to go through the third archway.
Yes, honey.
Excuse me.
And said,
Oh no, I hate animals.
"Oh, really?
Do you want to
It's
get it
so
off?
good. It's so
You're
good.
good.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right."
You're telling me.
So the butterfly looked out and saw all of these beautiful beings and thought, for a second, I'm going to die soon.
That's dark.
Well, it could be. But, I mean, at some point we're all going to die. And using death as an advisory actually really helped this butterfly go, what's truly important to me? How do I want to show up in the world right now? How do I want to take action in this moment? Am I going to be that being that's going to show up? Because who else is going to do it?
Hey.
And the mouse said, and the butterfly said, but if I go down there and if I meet that dark goblin in that garden, what will help me? And the mouse said, words of pure love.
Words of pure love.
Words of the highest love.
Words of the highest love.
Words that sing back the goddess.
Words that sing back the goddess.
Can I hear a hallelujah? Let's give the mouse a big round of applause. You guys are doing so well. So well, thank you. And so the mouse made her way. Oh no, not the mouse, the butterfly. Thank you. Through the great hall, through all of the bees, through all of the animals, and at the far end of the hall, can we all see the third great arch? We all see the third great arch. What kinds of things were on this arch? What can you see? What can you guys see?
I can see flowers.
You can see flowers, beautiful. What else is on this arch? Ivy. Crystals. Moss. Graffiti. Graffiti.
Chocolate world.
Chocolate world. I mean, we are deep down in the underworld now. Graffiti could be there. Chips. Atlantis. Guys, this archway is feeling pretty perfect. Alright, seeing that archway, can we have like a slow beat for the butterfly's final walk into the great goblin's den? For this used to be the entrance to a beautiful garden of Eden. This used to be the entrance to where the great goddess lived. And the butterfly was going in all of its vulnerability to confront and to meet. But there was one final caterpillar. Who's going to play the final caterpillar? Can we get is there I feel like some masculine energy. You want to get up here. Come on, let's get up here.
Go, Austin!
Yes. Take your stand, caterpillar. And said, who are you?
Who are you?
What do you want?
What do you want?
And what business do you have with the dark goblin?
You have with the dark goblin.
Do that one more time. Let's see you. Yeah, full power. We want to hear you. What business do you have with the great goblin?
What business do you have with the great goblin?
Yes. Yes. I love it. Thank you. And the butterfly, you can imagine how she began. Well, I made it through, down past the earth. The praying mantis said I had to pass through 2, 3 gateways to meet the dark goblin because the flowers are disappearing and the animals are disappearing and we need the goddess to return.
What did you say about the animals disappearing?
And the animals disappeared, but then I went through the first layer and there was mushrooms. And then I went through the second layer and there were all of these like extinct animals and now I'm here with you and I need to meet the goblin.
I don't care about anything.
These caterpillars are mean, man.
I care about it.
They really don't care, do they? Where's your heart? Oh my god. I know it's in there. It's all good. And so the caterpillar said, in order to enter the garden of the dark goblin, you must give up that is the most precious, your wings. Say, give up your wings.
Give up your wings.
Can I hear an even louder gasp? What is a butterfly without wings? A Obviously. And so you guys, that butterfly, in a very uncomfortable, somewhat painful way, dislodged those huge, big, weighted, now they're just dark, these wings that didn't have anything in them, and hoisted them off at the entrance in front of the caterpillar.
You become him again.
And the caterpillar looked at the wings and inspected them. Can you have a look?
Those aren't good enough for me.
And said, that will pay the price.
The true black.
The two black. Perfect for the underworld! Say, that will do.
That will do.
Let's give this little guy a big round of applause. And just like how awesome are all the kids that have gotten up so far, and Freya too. Like, can we just have a big round of applause for everyone? And so, my friends, let us have a moment of silence while the butterfly crosses that third threshold. Wingless, weak, legs walking, frail.
It's a caterpillar.
Could be a caterpillar, but it felt like the frail frame of the butterfly moved into the darkness. So let's have quiet as we enter this place together. And there was a sound, like a quick rustling in the distance. Can we hear the rustling? And there was a laugh, quite an evil laugh. Can we have some evil laughs? And the butterfly, so scared, retreated. Can you see this tiny little being in this big, dark garden surrounded by crawling vines, with sharp thorns, with plants that had become so angry that they'd turned to complete blackness, almost as if they'd been burnt by the fire and were never revived. There was the slight, most faint reflection in this garden of a lake in the center that was covered. It was marshy. There was moss. It was thick. It was unhealthy. It was stagnant. And the butterfly could just keep itself breathing on a little vine with thorns. And the great goblin, I'm going to get you guys all to be the great goblin because it's quite an ephemeral being. The great goblin said,
What are you doing here?
What are you doing here? The great goblin said, what are you doing here? Can I have that from the crowd? What? And the great goblin said, you silly little butterfly. You silly little butterfly. You don't even have wings. And you coming here has jeopardized your whole species. butterflies. Now, as you can imagine, that little butterfly was trembling, whatever you'd like to call it. I'm going to call it a butterfly, was trembling on that little vine with the thorns, and remembered in that moment what they had said. Do you remember what the message was? That message that would overcome the goblin. It was words of pure love. It was words of pure love. And just as this idea was returning, we need some words of pure love. The goblin came and picked that little butterfly up and put it on a hook right above the lake. Can I get gasps? And that little butterfly was trembling and shaking over the water.
She's frozen.
Is she alive?
It's not alive. Someone unfreeze me.
She's melting.
Thank you. That butterfly remembered and asked for help. Now we know that the butterfly has asked for help at every level of its descent, and it called out, "Help! Now I would love the most angelic ambient music, perhaps no drums for this bit, to start to surround this space. We're going to welcome in the grandmother energy. The 13 grandmothers join this little being in the garden of the great goblin. Let's hear these sounds. Angelic sounds, and knew that even down in the furthest part of the earth, as dark and as cold it could be, that there were these grandmothers there, the earth grandmothers holding that butterfly in its weakest time, in its darkest time, and sang a song. And I'm going to get the goddesses, whoever was at the grandmother workshop, we're going to sing that song to the butterfly. Can someone start singing it and remind us how it goes?
Butterflies, love you.
Oh, how we love you. And then we whisper, butterflies. Oh, how we love you. Butterfly. And again. Oh, how we love you. Oh, how we love you. And again. Oh, how we love you. Oh, how we love you.
Caterpillar.
So, I am opening up this space now to everybody here whose voices are equal, whose hearts have such beautiful things to share, that we may together speak the pure words of love that came through the butterfly from feeling so loved and so seen by all of those grandmothers. So let's hear some pure words of love spoken towards the fire.
I've come here to shine the light into the darkest corners.
I've come here to shine the light into the darkest corners. Let's have some sound effects. What other pure words of love, whatever they are, whatever that means to you. You are loved and you are loving. Thank you. Ready?
Avocado.
Avocado. What are the pure words of love?
You are fully seen and fully held.
You are fully seen. Can we all say that together? You are fully seen and fully held. Other words.
I love you no matter what.
All together. I love you no matter what.
Even if you burnt an orphanage down.
We might leave that one. Can we hear some other?
I love.
Hi, love. I love. Hi, love.
I
We all say hi, love. All of you is welcome here together. Ready? All of you is welcome here. Very good. What else? Let's hear 3 more.
Get out!
You are safe with us, the little pig said.
Okay, we just heard from a little Baba. You are safe with us. So all together. You are safe with us. 2 more.
Remember how beautiful you are.
All right, we've got one here. Remember how beautiful you are. Remember how beautiful you are. I am powerful, we are powerful. All together. I am powerful, we are powerful. Are there any other burning words of love?
I
Pure?
see you.
I see you. All together. I see you. Oh, she's connecting us with the story. You have made this journey. Ready? All together. You have made this journey. Thank you, honey. And a song came up from the butterfly. As flower petals began to fall all around the butterfly, as these words of pure love were spoken into the water beneath, a song came from the heart of the butterfly, and she sang. I offer flowers to your waters, blessings of the heart, may you always be protected. I offer flowers to your sacred waters with blessings of forgiveness. May we please remember. I offer flowers to your water, blessings of the heart. May you always be protected. I offer flowers to your sacred waters with blessings of forgiveness. May we all remember. I offer flowers to your waters with blessings of the heart. May you always be protected. I offer flowers to your sacred waters with blessings of forgiveness. May we please remember. And we'll all sing this bit together. Hi, yeah, yeah. Hi, yeah, yeah. And then listen. Hi, yeah, yeah. Hi, yeah, yeah. All together. Hi, yeah, yeah. Hi, yeah, yeah. Beautiful. Hi, yeah, yeah. Hi, yeah, yeah. Hi, face of such beauty, my friends, this goblin began to dissolve. This great, towering being in the presence of such love and wisdom and unity and heart and connection began to dissolve. Its body taking the shape of the moss, of the mold, of the dirt, of the waters, and it melted into those waters underneath that the butterfly had been singing into. And these prayers of love sent ripples out into the waters, immediately purifying all of the waters in that Garden of Eden. All of the waters were cleared. All of the waters suddenly began to shine with a luminescent radiance. They were clear, they were clean, they were pure. They were beautiful in how their colours expressed themselves. These waters, the sacred waters at the centre of the earth in the Garden of Eden, were shining, were alive, were remembering who they were. Oh, can we take a deep breath in together? Oh. And from these waters you can all see a bud, a precious flower bud of a lotus emerging out of the muddy waters, coming out in its perfection, in its purity, in its radiance. And before the butterfly's eyes and before all of your eyes, this lotus began to bloom. What other sounds is being made? Share with me your sounds of this lotus blooming. Beautiful was this lotus. Out it stretched its giant leaves in the Garden of Eden. It was so breathtakingly beautiful. Can we have like a breathtaking moment? Wow, let's hear the like oohs and ahs. Can you see it? Are you seeing it clearly? How pure it is, how white it is, all of the many petals and layers. What colours are in there even? Can you see in there? Is there a slight hue of shimmer and fairy magical dust that emanates from it? See this lotus. What can you see? Oh, really seeing that lotus blooming. And from this lotus came such a pure light that illuminated the dark. And all of those vines that with thorns and all of those plants and everything began to remember who it truly was. And life moved through these trees in that underground garden. And flowers began to bloom on the edges of the thorns. And the water sent its love, and the flowers sent its sparkly fairy dust to all of the beings in the Garden of Eden. And we see this Garden of Eden being breathed back into life. So we are going to play the role of the goddess, and we're going to take 3 deep breaths in and breathe into the fire, and let's breathe Eden alive in here, all right? Take a deep breath in, breathing in. And breathe Eden. Another breath, breathing in. See that Eden, breathe it in. The goddess breathed one more time, breathing in. And just like that, bam, bam, bam. Let's do that one more time. Bam, bam, bam. One more time. Bam, bam, bam. Great. All of the doors, those 3 arches, went slammed open. All those great big towering arches leading to the underworld were released. All of those extinct, endangered animals hiding under the ground were released. All all of the spores from all that the goddess had breathed into the fire was released up to the earth. And on the surface of the earth, we now see so much radiance blooming. So many exotic flowers blooming. What else can we see being birthed on the earth? Trees. And leaves. Dragons. Wow. What else can we see?
Hummingbirds.
Berries, rivers, flowers.
Unicorns.
Dragonflies, unicorns. White magic. Great. What else? Fairies. Unicorns.
Chocolate.
Humans with wings. Chocolate.
Infinite chocolate.
Angels. Yes, honey, angels. Butterflies that smile. Can you see all of these beings? They're flying about on the surface of the earth. And the goddess coming through that beautiful lotus turned to the butterfly, you guys, and said, for all that you've done, for all of creation, for all that you've given to all our earthly brothers and families, I am going to give you rainbow wings. Yeah, can we have a round of applause? That's really nice. And we can see the butterfly as the goddess gifted these wings. Beautiful rainbow wings. Can you see them? The butterfly grew 5 times that size, its own size that day. And seeing that passage of light all the way from the Garden of Eden up the surface of the earth, flew up through one archway, flew up through the second archway, flew up through the archway, and was suddenly flying high, beating its wings. Can I see all of your wings beating with me? Beautiful. And look at all the flowers, look at all the colours, look at all the flowers. And the butterfly came, ready, flying down now to your favourite coloured flower. And that flower was so happy, staying open, embracing that butterfly, that Garden of Eden, that vision that they had seen in the chrysalis had well and truly come true. This was the vision realized on earth. This is the Garden of Eden. We are living in paradise, and we are bringing that back with our visions, with our words, with our hearts, with our thoughts. This is our home, and we welcome these beings of love. We welcome these beings of light. We are so grateful that they're coming to gift themselves to us again. Thank you for allowing us to gather around this fire. Thank you for this sacred story. We see this butterfly flying around, blessing us all around this fire, this sacred rainbow energy that surrounds us, that flies through every single one of your hearts. You are that butterfly. You are radiant. You are magnificent. You are what we need. I want to see all of your wings one more time. Show them to me. Yes, beautiful. And how do they move? So gracefully. Just like that. Exactly. So, may this story, my friends, we've come to the end. I really appreciate you coming on this journey with me and trusting me. Thank you. 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 May this story bless all of those who heard it. May this story bless every single being that contributed, that we can see, that we can't, to all of our fabulous actors, to all the kids, to the brave adults, to everyone that contributed with music and sound and their voices. May this story bless you. May this story bless the one who received and told it. Thank you. And may this story bless all of our generations, all of those yet to come, all of those kids, all of our descendants, all those that we love that are coming through. Thank you to the children. This story is for you. May this story bless you. May this story be a blessing for our sacred Mother Earth. And may this nourish this campfire, may this nourish this river, may this nourish this land. I'm going to say goodbye and close up the space now. Thank you to all the beings here that joined us from the higher dimensions, those beings of the highest love, those beings of the highest light. We honor you. Can we all say together, hail and farewell? Hail, and farewell. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Honoring all of the angels and the angelic beings that were surrounding us, that were holding us. We say hail and farewell. Hail and farewell. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Honoring all of our spirit guides, all of our guardian angels, all our helper beings and spirits, everybody that's been like, woo, 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 up there. Let's give them a big hail and farewell. Honoring all of the nature spirits here, all that's supported us, all that's helped us in the invisible world. Let's say hail and farewell. Hail and farewell. Goddess that lives and breathes for all of us, the Garden of Eden at the center, we love you. And we say welcome, hail and farewell. Ready? Welcome, hail and farewell. And to anything that you think you need to say, acknowledge, give thanks to, that might need to be acknowledged that we haven't, let us say hail and farewell. Hail and farewell. And to this story, and to all of the beings in this story, and your highest medicine, I say thank you. I give my thanks, I honor you, and I say hail and farewell. Let's all say it together, ready? Hail and farewell. Thank you, sacred fire, thank you for holding us. Thank you, sacred water, for being there and allowing us to gather. Thank you, thank you, thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to be around this fire. This is a gift, this is an offering, this is a gift, this is an offering. I love you. I'm so grateful for all the ancestral beings that came through to support us. Thank you, honoring you. Bless you, I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hail and farewell. Hail and farewell. Hail and farewell.
Thank you for the empowering medicine to share. Thank you.
Thank you. Ideas about how this could happen more, please let me know, because I would love to share and co-create with you guys. I also just wanted to mention that I run new moon storytelling ceremonies online, so for anybody that wants to participate, they're not quite like this, I've got to say, this is pretty unique, but I receive stories for the new moon. I connect with the astrology, we set our intentions. If you want to join me for that, you're welcome. I'm also, for anyone that feels like a burning desire to express themselves, I'm running an online course called Awakening the Storyteller Within, which is about clearing your channel and allowing your visions and your prayers to be expressed clearly in the world. So if that interests you, come up and talk to me. I love you. You've all got this. We all can do this. I love you. I was going to be running a workshop all about tapping into this inner storyteller tomorrow morning at 10:30. Jed, who was going to do it, who's an amazing poet storyteller, he can't make it, but we're going to go on a guided drumming visualization for anyone that would like to come, receive some medicine before they leave tomorrow. We'll be in the Sisters Rising space at 10:30.
And it's for everyone.
It's for everyone.
For everyone. So for
Men and women.
it will no longer be Sisters Rising, it'll just be the Destiny. So everyone really welcome to join.
Thank you.
Thank you.